Howdy, folks. I wanted to give you some explanations of the answers to the practice quizzes. So, for this first one, the source evaluation practice quiz, if we're taking a look at number one, you're doing a research project on the minimum wage and you find an article from The Economist about credit card and student debt. What criteria might this article not pass? So, you may not know who The Economist is, but automatically that's not necessarily the issue at stake here. So if I'm researching minimum wage and the article is about student debt and credit card debt, they're a little bit connected, but not directly. So I would say that this is an issue of relevance because student debt does not equate to minimum wage. Yes, they are connected in some ways, but if you're just trying to research the minimum wage, there may not be immediate connection between those two. Which criterion checks whether the author is qualified to write about a certain topic? That is authority. Authority deals with, is this person authoritative or credible to write about the topics? Like, I am an authority on English and grammar and writing. I am not an authority in history or math, right? That's not my field of expertise, my professional experience. Why might currency be important to evaluate more thoroughly for some topics other than others? Well, some things just change more quickly over time. So, for example, tech trends, medical trends, those are changing almost like weekly or monthly. But there are some things that information from 5, 10, 15 years ago may still be relevant. So, for example, like education reform, some things with psychology, may not change super fast. So using information that's a little outdated is just kind of, it depends on the topic that we're choosing, because some things just change faster than others. If an article is biased, it shows unfair preference or dislike. That's just the definition of bias. And then we get to evaluating this post here. So if we go through our 5 criteria: currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose, let's break these down. So currency is pretty good, right? 2017, 5-6 years ago, it's not that bad. I'm betting the percentage of Americans who own guns hasn't gone significantly up or down in the past 6 years. My guess is it's probably pretty static. Relevance, if I'm doing a research project on gun ownership or gun control, yeah, this could be a relevant source for me. Authority, here's where it gets a little tricky because Mason D. Simpson, probably no way for me to check, is this guy a credible person to talk about gun control? The source he's using actually is pretty credible because it's from Washington, cbslocal.com. My guess is that's a local news station. And I know that Gallup is a pretty credible polling company that like takes information and does some research about statistics in America. So the source he's using is credible. He is not. Accuracy, again, here's where we have a mix of information. This source looks pretty good, right? 60% of Americans own gun ownership for personal safety is what that would say. We didn't get the whole title, but if I read the little text, it's like, oh yeah, in order to feel safe. So this information is probably good. That's accurate information. But how he addresses it, the poll shows most Americans own guns. That is factually incorrect, right? He is misinterpreting what 60% of Americans own guns. He didn't finish reading for personal safety. So that's the reason why they're owning guns, not how many own guns. And his purpose is, I think the Gallup poll, again, where we have this differentiation, the Gallup poll its purpose is just to share statistics with Americans and news watchers. But the purpose from him sounds like he is against gun ownership. I don't know, because he's got these like scary emojis. I don't know what he's trying to do here. So purpose for Mason is a little bit mixed because he's interpreting this information incorrectly. So good source that he referenced, bad interpretation of the source. So I say that's the strengths and the weaknesses. If you said something about that, you've probably got it. All right, holler at me with questions.